Hello, today I'm going to tell you about woodwind instruments. These are the family of instruments that you blow down, apart from brass, which we're going to talk about another time. So we've got two main types. Some of them have got a reed and some of them haven't. The first instrument I want to show you with a reed is the clarinet. This is one of the instruments I played when I was at school, and it's got what is called a single reed. I'm going to bring this right up to the camera so you can have a look. So the single reed is a piece of cane, a bit like bamboo, which as you can see is strapped on here to the mouthpiece, and the mouthpiece itself has got this angle on it so that the cane sits there with a little tiny gap in between. And what happens is when you blow it, the piece of cane vibrates, it wiggles, and that creates the vibration in the air that makes the sound. So that mouthpiece on its own will make a squeaky noise, and when we plug it into the instrument we can then change the notes with our fingers to change the pitch. The clarinet has got a very wide range actually. It plays very low and very high, which is partly by moving your fingers, like I said, but also partly by jumping what we call the different registers. So without changing my fingers I can play different notes. And that's called changing register. So if you do both together, you move your fingers and you change registers, you've got all these notes here. And a few more at the top that I haven't played for a while. If the clarinet is a single reed instrument, then this is a double reed instrument. This has a reed that is two pieces of cane which have been tied together. In fact, I make these. I made this one myself. So you take your piece of cane or bamboo and you fold it in half, tie it together with wire and string, and then cut off the tip and scrape it down to make the shape. You can hopefully see the gap through the middle. This instrument is called a kirtle, and it's an early ancestor of a more common, better known modern instrument, which is the bassoon, which looks very similar but has a lot more metalwork like the clarinet does. Modern instruments tend to have a lot more keys on them, and the early ones that I play from hundreds of years ago, they tend to have bare wood. So this is a bass instrument. It's quite large, and it's twice as large as it looks because the air goes in at the top, down one side, and then turns a U-bend at the bottom and comes back all the way up and out here at the top through the bell. So it goes very low indeed. And in the orchestra, the bassoon is the bass instrument from the woodwind section, so it plays the low parts, just like the cello does with the strings. The other double reed instrument I've got to show you is an oboe. Again, this is a historical and early model from hundreds of years ago. It's not that old, it was made recently, it's a copy. And the modern one would have a lot more metal work on it and look a lot more like the clarinet because it's also that black colour. This one has a much smaller double reed on the top, made in a similar way to the bassoon or kirtle reed I showed you a minute ago. So those are all reed instruments. And the other reed instrument that I don't have, of course, is saxophone. You'll have seen saxophones, I'm sure, with a big shiny brass look to them. They've got a bent neck on the top, and they have a bell that comes up here, and they are another kind of single reed instrument like the clarinet, often used in jazz music. They're a slightly more recent invention. So as I said, there are two main types. We've done reeds. The other type is without reeds. Usually this means that the air is going to be split in some way. Rather than having a reed that vibrates, you get the vibration from the air splitting across a surface. So the simplest form of this you can try at home. If you get yourself a bottle, preferably with a quite small top to it, so a water bottle will do, I've got a glass one here, you can put it up just below your lip, and if you angle the air as you blow over the front edge, you should be able to split that air and make a note. I've got some water in this one because I wanted to tune it to a particular note. depending how much volume there is inside, how big it is, that will change the note. So I've got a small one, and I've got a slightly bigger one to play a different note. So this one's lower and this one's higher. We're going to use these in a piece at the end of the video. This method of making a sound is the same as the flute. The flute I don't have, but I'm sure you've all seen them. They're played out to the side. It's the only woodwind instrument that is played out to the side. So if you imagine the tube is here, it's got a hole in it that you blow over just like the bottle, and then your hands are out here doing the fingering. And then, similar to the flute, but working in a different way, is the recorder. So this has the splitting of the air built into it. We've got a hole to blow through at the top, and then on the front of the recorder there's a kind of a wedge shape. Now if you can't see this properly on the video, you might have to have a look at one next time you get into school, because we've got a whole drawer full of them, remember. Some of you will of course have played one before. So the air goes through the hole at the top and is angled onto that wedge which splits it and has the same effect as blowing over the bottle or blowing over the flute. In a lot of languages, this is also called a flute, but this is a block flute because there's what's called a block, a piece of wood, in the top, and the other one is called the transverse or sideways flute. This wedge idea is used on other instruments as well. I've got a couple of examples here. This is called a Pennywhistle, and it's a design that was invented in Victorian times, and originally they were literally sold for 1 penny. They were that cheap to make. It's a piece of metal that's been bent all the way around. You can see the block I was talking about, the wooden block in the top, to hold, and then by bending the metal here, they've made that wedge shape in the same way. This is quite often used in folk music. So it's got quite a breathy sound, and they make them much bigger as well. And then I've also got for you, just to show you that instruments can be made from all sorts of different materials, this one is called a gemshorn, and it's made out of a cow horn, and again it's got a big wooden block here to fill in the top, and it's got the wedge. You can probably see it better here actually with the colours that are in the bone, or the horn rather, where it's been carved out to split the sound. So the woodwind family can in fact be made from any material, including horn, metal, plastic, or wood, sometimes. Most of them were made of wood originally, but these days the majority of woodwind instruments are not made of wood, they're made of plastic. Even my clarinet is partly made of plastic. Right, it's time to make some music. We're going to do a song today, but if you've got an instrument at home, do go and get it, because we're going to have parts for you to join in as well. This is a song, it's a round called Frère Jacques. It's in French, but it's very easy French, and if you don't know it already, I bet some of your parents do. So the words are Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, ding dang dong. You can probably guess what that last bit is. Ding dang dong is bells ringing. Frère Jacques is Brother Jack. Brother Jack as in a monk. Monks call each other brother. Dormez-vous means are you asleep? So one monk is asking another monk whether they've woken up yet. Sonnez les matines. Sonne is to sound, and les matines are the matins bells for the matins service in the morning. So it seems that perhaps Brother Jack has been having a bit of a lie-in and might be a bit late for the morning service. Ding dang dong, time to wake up. So I'm going to put down a bass part for you using the bass instrument, the kirtle or bassoon. And this is the bit that you're going to be able to join in with if you've got an instrument with notes on it as well. So it sounds like this. So the notes there are C, G, C, C, G, C, and just like last time, if you don't know where both those notes are, actually you could play either of them 3 times. So you could go C, 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 or G, 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 But if you can find both, that's even better. And it doesn't matter whether you go up to your G or down, so you could go C, G, C. Either way works. So have a little practice of that. I shall play along. I'll sing you the song without the bass part first so you can hear it as well as possible, and I'll put the words down underneath for you to read as well with the translation. So it goes like this. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding dang dong, ding dang dong. Now hopefully you notice two things. One of those things is that those last three notes for ding dang dong are C, G, C, C, G, C, ding dang dong, ding dang dong. So if you're playing C, G, C on your instrument, then when we get to that bit in the song you can check that you're in the right place because it should all line up. The other thing you might have noticed is that every line of text happens twice. So if you're not sure of the words, you can listen to the first one and join in with the second one. So listen to me and then sing along the second time for each line. Have a go. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding dang dong, ding dang dong. Did you manage that? Okay, now this is a round, so that means you can start anywhere. So you might be doing Frère Jacques while I'm doing dormez-vous. You might be doing dormez-vous while I'm doing sonnez les matines. You can dive in at any point and start singing, and it should all fit together. So I'm going to play the tune on a few of the instruments I showed you, and we'll build it up, and then what I'll do is I'll sing it again and you can join in. So sing along as much as you like, play along if you've got an instrument there, feel free to have a little dance, a little clap, whatever you want to do that fits. Let's start with this one.